Yeah, this is going to be the market review for Monday, March 17th. So we had our range form. It was 35 ticks, so pretty much the ideal amount that you would want to see. We had our first breakout happen at 9:27. We have our retracement back into the range. My bottom fortification was pretty big, and even then, it still got disrespected, both here and here. And you can see after that, we expanded to the top of the range and eventually broke out and confirmed a false stay at 9:32. And so with any breakout, we wait for retracement. You can see that did not happen here. Price basically expanded very quickly past the first standard deviation and past the second. We have this wick gap that I marked out from a while back from a previous AM session, and you can see price continued to expand past that too. And yeah, so once we get past the second, we come up to the third standard deviation level. And something to note that this is also the area at the top of the large news wick that was created by, I believe, CPI last Wednesday. And so the rest of that week the rest of that week we struggled to get over this wick gap, and we rejected from it multiple times. So you can see here, price made an attempt to get over it again, but we rejected from the top of it. And this is when price began to ping pong in between the first standard deviation and the top of that wick gap. And you can see here also that the ping pong is leaning downwards, so price was essentially rejecting from the top of this wick gap over this period of time. So ultimately we do break down past the first and we come back into the range. You can see the top fortification here, despite it being violated, we didn't get a closure outside of it. And so price made an attempt to expand here. It did not, it didn't. And then a second attempt here, where we did expand to the first standard deviation. We rejected from that area, came back into the top fortification, and had a much more smooth expansion. We went past the first and came straight to the second standard deviation, but rejected from there. And all of this is still occurring inside that large news wick from last Wednesday. And so we reject from the second standard deviation, we come back down here, and as we get closer to PM session, you can see here that we actually reacted off of a old PM session wick from last Friday, when price rejected from the second. But also heading into PM session, I do like to highlight wicks from the AM session. So something I looked for was the doji that formed at the end of towards the end of AM. And so when we did reject from that old PM session wick, we also got a closure over this doji wick from the AM session. And you can see from there, PM session starts, about 8 minutes go by. We get a closure over it at 1:07, and then price expands from there. So we got over both that old PM wick and this doji from the AM session, and we got our expansion upwards. It was a pretty big move up. We finally hit the fourth, which is something that did not happen during the AM session. And so at the time of the trade, we were already in between the first and second from the AM MCR, but yeah, price expanded to the fourth, struggled around the fourth for like a little bit, but not very long, and continued to expand upwards. And yeah, it gave off a pretty big move when you're measuring from that wick to the top. It was basically 200 ticks, and yeah, just based off of like what I can see on the chart, it seems like we reacted off of this wick as well. It's a large part of why I keep so many wick gaps on my chart, because it's easier for me to see and react to. But yeah, we rejected from here, and price has made its way back down to the fourth. Market is like about 40-ish, 45 minutes from closing, so I don't expect like that much from here on out. But yeah, that is essentially what happened for price action. If we're looking at our profiles, you can see that the profile behavior was basically like carried out perfectly today. Secret profile took out London high, New York AM took out secret high, and then New York PM took out AM high. So it's like a domino effect almost. And this kind of chain reaction is what can help you like develop a bias for as well. But yeah, so both high time frame wise and on our 1 minute, that is my review of price action. So if anyone has any questions or would like to share what they did today, or ask questions about general MCR, I am here to answer any of that. So